Thank you very much. Again, just a quick background. My name is Brian Tuttle. Obviously, as you can see there, I've been doing HIPAA compliance consulting really since 2003, back when the HIPAA security rule came out, where regulations were put into place that we need to secure electronic protected health information just like we secure paper as well as verbal disclosures. Throughout the years, I've conducted upwards for groups of all shapes and sizes, large hospitals, small clinics, outpatient facilities, insurance plans. I've worked with business associates like medical billing companies, transcription companies, third-party administration companies, attorneys, small little IT companies developing an app for an iPhone, you name it. I've seen just about every possible way health records can be accessed, transmitted, or stored throughout the years. I've also worked on behalf of the federal government as a contracted auditor. So anytime I approach this subject matter, I don't only look at it from the sense, are we securing the information, but also, are we protecting ourselves from a potential federal audit? Basically, can we provide them what they are looking for proactively? More importantly, and especially over the last few years here, more in particular since the 2013 Omnibus Rule, I've worked in multiple litigated cases as an expert witness in various different states. To be honest with you, the trial attorneys are by far more dangerous to us than the federal government has ever been, because legislation was passed back in late 2013 called the HIPAA Omnibus Rule, the HIPAA Omnibus Final Rule. Now, a very small little piece of this, it wasn't even really legislation, the little piece I'm talking about, it was the federal government wanting to have an individual remedy, wanted people to be able to get remedy if your health record has been wrongfully accessed or disclosed. But rather than doing that under federal law, under the HIPAA laws, they told all 50 states' attorney generals to implement these laws of remedy within their own states. So therefore, you're suing under whatever state you live in, and under the laws of negligence, invasion of privacy, or what have you, using the federal HIPAA violation as the foundation of that state case. And these sorts of cases have been shooting through the roof. And I've worked in about 27 different states at this point, so I'm assuming precedence has been set just about everywhere. And this is by far the most dangerous aspect of this. But in either case, when we're talking about our compliance under HIPAA, whether you're being audited by the feds or, God forbid, it's dragged into litigation, we have to prove that as an organization, we have been proactive in our compliance. And your EHR is a big, big piece of this, which is clearly what we're going to talk about today. And one thing about an electronic health record system or electronic medical record system, potato, it depends on how you want to refer to it. Some call it EHR, some call it EMR. It really doesn't matter. It's the same thing. But that is a big critical piece of your overall compliance plan. Just because you have an EHR that says it's, quote, HIPAA compliant, it's not HIPAA compliant if you're not using it in the way that you're supposed to use it. So what we're going to do is go through here, and we'll talk about ways in which you need to be using this to make it compliant, because this is it's not the entire piece of your compliance program, but it is a very large slice of the pie. So without further ado, let's get started here and talk a little bit about history of where we were to where we are with electronic health records. So in the old days, and even still with some groups, there's a lot of paper everywhere, paper health records. Most medical data, most medical records were not electronic. That's changed now. The pendulum's tilted, of course, but in the old days, it was pretty much all paper. So exchange between healthcare providers may not have been possible, especially when you're talking about doctor to pharmacy, doctor and another provider, doctor in a hospital. You could exchange information, but it almost had to be you're physically taking it over there. fax, but that's not the most not the best way to distribute information.